February 9th, 2004. Maura Murray, a 22-year-old nursing student who attended the University of Massachusetts, would log into her email to inform her teachers that she had a tragedy in the family and would be needing a week off from school and work. Oddly enough, it would later be revealed that there was no family emergency. She packed her car like she was heading out for a week-long vacation. Around 7 p.m. on Route 112 near Woodsville, New Hampshire, Maura crashed her car into a snowbank due to the sharp turn on the road. A woman living nearby heard the crash and reported the incident to the police. By the time police and emergency vehicles arrived, 15 minutes after the initial crash, Maura was nowhere to be found, and no one would ever see or hear from her again. This is the story of Maura Murray, the nursing student who vanished on Route 112. Now, the details surrounding this case are a little bizarre to say the least, and in order to understand this whole story, we have to go back in time a little bit before her disappearance. During her high school years, she was an excellent student and a star track athlete. Before transferring to nursing school, she studied chemical engineering for a few semesters. To everyone around her, Maura seemed to have everything together, but like with most people, that may not always be the case. On Saturday, February 7th, a few days before her disappearance, her father Fred had taken her to go car shopping. They enjoyed dinner that evening with one of Maura's closest friends. The two dropped Fred off back at his motel room and borrowed his car to head back to a party on their college campus. They enjoyed the night socializing and I'm sure enjoyed a few drinks as well. Around 2:30 the next morning, Maura left the party to head back to the motel her father was staying at. On her drive back, she struck a guardrail, causing significant damage to her father's vehicle. The damage price was close to $10,000. The responding officer surprisingly didn't do a sobriety check, or at least never put it on record, so we can't for sure say that alcohol was involved, but coming from a college party, this could very well be possible. The next morning, her father rented a vehicle, he dropped her back off at campus, told her they would discuss everything about the crash and insurance during the following week, and he headed back home. On February 9th of 2004, this is where things start to take a strange turn. Maura made a few phone calls during this time. One was to a condo owner in Bartlett, New Hampshire, where she tried to rent the condo that her family had previously stayed at before. The owner of the condo did not rent it to her for reasons unknown. She also made a phone call to a fellow nursing student, but no one knows what was talked about on that call. She called a hotel in Stowe, Vermont, trying to book a room there as well. We really don't have any indication on why she is trying to get off campus, but she has made a few different attempts to finding a place to stay. She also made a phone call to her boyfriend and left a voicemail saying she would talk to him later. This is also when she emailed her work supervisor and college professors stating she had a death in the family and would need to take a week off from work and school. The family has stated that there was no death in the family at this time and this was all made up. Maura packed her car up with everything she needed for a few days away from campus and headed for New Hampshire. As far as we know, she didn't discuss her plans of leaving with anybody. Before making her long drive, she made a few stops. One was at an ATM and she withdrew $280 from her account, which was all the money she had at the time. Next, she stopped at a liquor store and bought around $40 worth of alcohol. Around 7:30 that evening, Faith Westman called authorities to report she had just heard an accident and there was a car stuck in the snowbank on Route 112 near her house. Around 7:40, a bus driver named Butch Atwood came across the accident. He offered Maura assistance, but she said she had already contacted AAA and pleaded with him not to contact the police. In this particular area, he knew that there was no cell service, so she couldn't have contacted AAA, so he headed home, which was only a few minutes away from the scene of the accident, and contacted authorities. The first officer arrived 15 minutes after the accident, and Maura was nowhere to be found. Her cell phone, wallet with her debit cards, and a few bottles of alcohol were all that was missing from the vehicle that the police could tell. Her debit cards and cell phone have not been used since the accident, and the bus driver is the last officially confirmed sighting of Maura. The police officer, bus driver, and 8 firefighters who arrived on scene all headed west of the accident in an attempt to try to locate her. For whatever reason, no one decided to look for her east of the accident. Maybe they felt like west was the direction that she would have headed in, but this could have made all the difference if someone would have just went in the opposite direction. There is one unconfirmed sighting that night that was reported a few months later from a contractor that was driving 4 to 5 miles east of the accident. Once he was able to confirm the date with his work records that it was in fact that evening of the accident, he immediately contacted authorities. He stated that between 8 and 8:30 p.m. he saw a young woman walking very quickly along Route 112. He didn't stop to ask questions but knew it was a little bit out of place. Over the years, there have been multiple searches conducted in the area, but they have led to no new information. No traces of Maura or evidence have ever been found. The very few leads that people did bring forth on suspects led to no answers or any arrest, but strangely, 8 years to the day that she disappeared, a very strange video was uploaded to YouTube. A user by the name of 112 Dirtbag uploaded a very eerie video. Now before I show the video, let me explain what 112 Dirtbag means. In an interview, Maura's father stated that she was probably taken by some dirtbag on Route 112. This YouTube username is obviously associated to that comment. Now, the man in the video was investigated by police and the FBI, and nothing came from that investigation. Either the fact that they got this lead 8 years after the initial disappearance, and he was able to hide any useful evidence to tie him to her disappearance over those 8 years, or it was just a sick joke that he wanted to upload to YouTube. Like we have learned from some of my other videos, that there are some really disturbing people on the internet. Like in most of these cases, I wish that I could end this video with a happy ending. Sadly, this is not the case. I hope for the family's sake that at some point they will get some answers in the disappearance to bring at least a little bit of closure. This was the story of Maura, the nursing student who vanished on Route 112.